And we will start the January 2024 Hoke Scotland UCC. As I have said at all of my other meetings, I hope I don't have to tell you that it's January, and I hope I don't have to tell you it's 2024, because if I do, we've got a problem. This is your education team, this bunch of misfits. Actually, they're really a good bunch of folks. I'll say that. A PDF copy of the presentation, and in this case, a copy of our video will go out to the ncucc.org website to be used as proof that this meeting was held. So make sure that anything that you say is something that you'd want recorded.
All right.
Annual notices. So whoever at your office gets annual notices about member information. So every year we send out member notices. So if you want to update any kind of contact, or if you need to do any kind of map up changes or anything like that, we ask that they're done. You can do that anytime during the year, multiple times a year, but we always send out a notice asking for it at least once a year. Important dates, believe it or not, it looks like all of those dates have come and gone. State UCC's passed us. That was Tuesday the 9th in Greensboro. The big thing out of that one was some good conversation about locating and information about the joint North Carolina, South Carolina conference, which will be held in Charleston, South Carolina this year. The last of April, 1st of May. Registration will be $250 for that conference. I don't have any hotel information yet. LRPC met. The fourth quarter board meeting, the North Carolina 811 board meeting, was last Friday in Greensboro at the Grandover. Any of those board meetings are good to attend, but I always tell people that fourth quarter 811 board meeting is a good one because it kind of gives you an overview of what happened during 2023 or the previous year and what's coming up for the next year, any kind of new things that we've got coming on board. I know the Underground Damage Prevention Review Board met on Tuesday. I was not at that meeting, but Ann just gave me a brief overview. I think they had 56 cases. 55 of them they heard. Several were dismissed for lack of evidence, just not enough information, but they did levy about $75,000 in fines. So always good information that comes out of that board, Underground Damage Prevention Review Board meeting. Calendar of event meetings can be found on the 811 calendar and also on the ncucc.org website. Locate requests and transmissions. Locate requests were up 7.5% for the month of December over December of last year, 184,086 requests. Also, year to date, we were up 7.2%. I know last January when we met, we were talking about looking at probably a 6% increase, and we busted right past that. 2,677,733 locate requests for the year. That's a lot of locate requests. So I like to tell people 10 years ago, there were 1.2 million locate requests. In 10 years, it's more than doubled. So yeah, a tremendous amount of work. I came to work for North Carolina 811 in 2015. So in 2015, let's see, it went from 2013 1.2 to 1.3 to 1 point, basically about 1.5 million in 2015. So double, more than double. Well, that's not true, but you get the picture.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely is
Um,
increasing.
it's just ridiculous. So yeah, 2,677,600, dang it, 2,677,733. Um, just a ridiculous amount. Really, that started a huge uptick in 2016 with fiber work. Not that there wasn't a lot of other stuff too, but really noticed that big uptick in fiber work starting in about 2016. Anytime locate requests go up, transmissions go up. For the month of December, up 9%, 998, 892. And for the year, ended out at 14,273,647. And I always like to tell people just the difference between the two. The locate request is what you're calling in or what you're entering. Putting in a fence. In that area where that fence is going, there might be water, sewer, gas, fiber, and electric. So there's 5 transmissions for one locate request. Statistically, we see right now 5.3 transmissions for every single locate request. That's the difference between those two numbers. And your utility operator pays for every transmission that goes out. So lots of coming off the hip from your utility operators. Ticket volume for Hoke County. I know there's a lot of fiber work happening in Hoke County right now. So new tickets, that middle column, new tickets were up 93%, basically 93 and a half, 855 new requests. Sorry, I get windy and I get dry. Total tickets for Hoke County for the month of December were up 70.7%. Total tickets include retransmits and updates. So total tickets for Hoke County for the month of December were 1,094. Average locates per day for Hoke County were 58. And you can see that on that updates, 33% of that was updates. So again, a lot of telecommunication work, we know for sure. For Scotland County, new tickets were up 17.3%, 230 for the month of December. Total tickets were actually down for the month of December for Scotland County. Total tickets were down 12.2%, 295. Last year, 336. 3 hours were down, cancellations down, new tickets were up just a hair, retransmits down, updates down, so total tickets down. And a lot of times we've been geared to think that anytime you see a decrease, it's bad. On those update tickets, if work has completed, you don't want those tickets updated. There's no reason for it. Average locates per day for Scotland County were 16. Hoke County ticket volume year to date. New ticket volume, again, that middle column, new tickets were up for Hoke County for the year, 32%. Total tickets were the big guys. Total tickets were up for Hoke County, 31.7%. 14,059 locate requests for the year. For Scotland County, new tickets were up 30.7%, 3,273. Total tickets as well were up for Scotland County, 4,900, tickets. That was an increase of 25.3% for Scotland County for 2023. Ticket distribution just kind of shows you where those tickets are going around the county. Hoke County, you can see they were all over the place, but really the bulk of that work being in Rayford, 972 of those 1,094. And then for Scotland County, again, typically no big surprise, Laurinburg had the most of those locate requests for Scotland County, 165 of those 295. Top 10 callers. This is something that we started doing several months ago. This is not anything where we're spanking hands or anybody's done something wrong. This is just for the calls that came in for that county. This is where the most calls came in. So for Hoke County, RG Communications, JP Pipe Installation, Utility Network Solutions, Centera, Den Underground, Telecom, A&L Cable, Mostech, Hoke County Utilities, and WG Underground. And I would say that excuse me, I got a little button happy, that 80% of that is probably telecommunications work. And that's for Hoke, and then for Scotland County, Mostech, Cable Installation, City of Laurinburg, Metcon, Novak, Rios, Graycliff, Frank Shelton, Duke Energy, and SEC. And again, that's for Scotland County. Not all of that, not quite as much of that being fiber, but still a good chunk of that being fiber work. Damage events reported for the month of December for the state. We had a grand total of 848 damage events reported. Hoke County actually had 2 damage events reported. Scotland did not have any damage events reported for the month of December. Doesn't mean there weren't any, it just means there weren't any reported. October, definitely October, even November, you saw 1,400, 13, 1,400, and then obviously holidays, things slow down a little bit, people are taking vacation, so all the way down to 848, and we typically see those start trending back up around March again. And then just a little graph to show you where those damage events trickle up. You can see they start trickling up in March, came back down just a little bit in 2023 in April, and then kind of a steady incline into August, which again is what we see pretty much statewide and nationwide, that you'll see the highest number of damages in August, but this year we got a kind of a kick up again in October, and then a decline there, which will happen probably back around to March, and then we'll start that bounce back up again. Uh, cool weather, and that's throughout the state. That's going to be even in areas where it's colder and there's not quite as much excavation happening, where the ground might be frozen. When I started, my boss told me, she said, typically March through October's busy season, and then November, December, January, February slows down a little bit. It's not been like that the last couple years. It's pretty much busy year round. And then damages per 1,000 transmissions. And this we're going to start doing some more damage stuff, just kind of showing where that's coming from, but this gives a more accurate picture of damages. It compares oranges to oranges. So in Anson County, um, which is one of my areas. It's a very small county, and there isn't a tremendous amount of construction, but damage-wise, per 1,000 transmissions, it actually has more damages per transmission than a larger county like Mecklenburg. So it's gonna help me when I go in and start popping into that data to say, "Okay, why is this happening? Where do I need to be focusing education?" So this is just one of the things I'll be working on this year. That is all the excitement that I have for that. Is there anything you wanna go back and look at?
I just had a quick question. I'm still a little bit confused on transmissions versus a locate ticket.
Yes, sir. So, hang on here, let me go back a little bit. Du 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 du. Let me go back and pull up my little chart here. That's transmissions. Okay. So let's say that at your home, you want to put in a new mailbox and you call in a locate request. That's one ticket or one locate request. In that area where you're going to put that mailbox, in the ground, there might be water, sewer, gas, fiber, and electric. So for that single locate request, there are 5 transmissions that go out to those utility operators. Um,
Gotcha.
so yep.
Yeah. So basically, per utility owner is a transmission.
Yes, sir. And
Awesome.
each of those utility operators pays for every transmission that goes out. So that's why, when you're in a meeting, you'll hear the liaisons really hitting on things like, hey guys, if the work's done, there's no reason to call in an update ticket because you're a utility operator. So I'm the town of Tammy. I'm supplying uh, gas services. So every time you update that ticket, I'm paying somebody to update that locate request to check, even though that work's been done. So it gets frustrating, and I get it as a utility operator. Several years ago, out in the western part of the state, had a lady who approached me after a meeting, and she said, "Hey, we do you want to know about stuff like this?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "Well, somebody keeps updating this locate request." So I went back and I checked into it. There was a locate request that had been updated by an excavator 67 times. The work was supposed to take 2 weeks. The locates that utility had paid out was roughly $7,000 worth of locates. The work was done, but they were continuing, that excavator was continuing to call in that locate request, and the utility pays for that. But I like to remind people, who's paying your utility?
That's a good point.
The end consumer. Each and every one of us pays as an end consumer. So, we're really kind of shooting ourselves in the foot if we're not managing. And I get it. I get it, because a lot of times what happens is the person in the field comes to the person in the office, hands them a stack of paperwork and said, Here's the locate request. Don't let them expire. And then they go about their business doing the work in the field, and the person in the office is doing the work in the office. And the person in the field doesn't come back and say, hey, Tammy, we finished that work. You don't have to update those tickets anymore. So those tickets get updated until Jesus comes home. And then, of course, your locators, who were the ones out there in the field with the excavator, your locators get irritated. So then you've got an adversarial relationship because the locators are getting frustrated because the excavators hollering, hey, you're not over here locating this. Well, no, I'm over here trying to mark this where you've already done this and you don't need me. But because I got a ticket, I have to keep have to keep marking it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit of a broken communication there.
Yes, sir. It can be. It can be, as a matter of fact. So I will get you popped into the surrounding. Well, actually, I'll just pop you into all of them. How's that? And then
Sounds
any
good. I like it.
you're not interested in, just tell me what your email address is.
Will be Javier, Javier
Mm-hmm.
dot Hernandez, Hernandez at collierseng.com.
Got it. I'll get it handled.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, listen, I appreciate it more than you know. I'm going to stop presenting and I'm going to stop recording.